We'll call the meeting to order. Ms. Kukla, if you could read the preamble, please.
Actually, there will be no preamble this morning. Since we are not live streaming, there will be no conversation online, so I would be happy to call the roll if that would be fine.
Thank you.
Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Ms. Roca?
Present.
Madam Chair, Ms. Alana Faith will be absent this morning. So we have only 3 members this morning, but we do have a quorum. However, to the appellants in the room, if there is not a unanimous vote, your variance will not pass. So you have the right to postpone your case until such date when we have 4 members. And then you would have a better chance of getting a full quorum or a unanimous or 3 votes. So at this time, if there's any appellant that would like to postpone to a later date, please let us know. Hearing nothing, Madam Chair?
All right, hearing none. Are there any other postponements on the record?
Yes, we have 3 this morning. So, calendar number 24-080 regarding 1509 East 123rd Street. And that is MUAV LLC. Is the owner or a representative here for that case? We contacted them last week to let them know that there is an error in the adjudication. The application was actually made for a 2-family, or should have been made for a 2-family. There was some miscommunication between building and housing. So we will need to repost this case so that the actual information will be posted correctly. So we can get them on the agenda for July 1st or July 8th.
I will be absent on July 8th.
So if you're maybe at the 15th, if you'd like to push that, the 1st works fine for us as well.
Board members, 1st or 15th?
Either is fine with me.
Yeah, I think either is fine.
All right. First? Okay.
1st is fine.
Okay, thank you. Calendar number 24-080 is postponed to July 1st. There will be no testimony taken on this today. If you received a letter in the mail, you will receive a letter again 10 days before the hearing. So the next 2 that we have, Madam Chair, are regarding the administrative appeals for calendar numbers 24068 and 24083. Is there anybody here for those cases, applicants or city representatives? We were contacted, Madam Chair, by the city representative from Assessments and License. They have a scheduling conflict and we're not able to be here today.
Okay.
So we have postponed the first one, 24-068. We did take the liberty to give them a new date of June 24th. So they will be back on the agenda next week. And then, actually, we did choose a date for the next one as well, 24-083, and this is for Edgar Santiago. His new hearing date will be July 1st. Okay. And that's all that we have for postponements and withdrawals, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any council persons in the room today? I don't see anyone. All right, we will move forward with the first case. Ms. Holzer, if you'd like to read in the first case.
Sounds good. Our first case is calendar number 24-081. It's at 2325 Elm Street. Nautica Entertainment LLC owner proposes to establish use as a performance place in a K-5 limited retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. Ms. Wilson, will you be reading, or will you be signing folks in? All right, hand it over to you.
All right, thanks, Ms. Holder. I will swear in all who are present for this case. Is there anyone present for 24-081? If you are, please come forward to the table.
Yeah, my colleague is.
Jesse, he's behind you.
Huh?
He's behind you. He's talking.
Oh, he's right there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead and swear you in while we wait for your colleague. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand. Reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, and give your address.
Dave Grunenwald, Grunenwald, 1231 Main Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113. And I do.
Thank you. All right, I will turn to you next.
Jesse Swigert, Jesse, Swigert, Sweigart, with LDA Architects, 5000 Euclid Avenue, Suite 104, 44130.
Okay, thank you.
And I do.
Perfect. All right, I assume there's no one else present for this matter, so I'll turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. Ms. Kukla, can we have the history of the property, please?
Sure. This property was originally zoned general industry in 1929. In approximately 2021, this property was rezoned to limited retail business. In our records administration office, we found that in 1960, a permit was issued to make alterations to a warehouse and storage. There are 2 variances on file for this case, Madam Chair, in calendar number 88-041, and that is in 1988. This board granted a variance to establish use as a nightclub with conditions that parking will be maintained on the corner of Elm and River Street. Then, Madam Chair, in calendar 15-266, and that was in 2015, this board denied a variance to establish use as a nightclub concert venue in a general industry district. I would state, Madam Chair, for the record that the zoning has changed to limited retail since that date, and the use is now allowed. And also the site plan has changed significantly, so I believe that res judicata would not be at play here. So, and that's all that I have that's relevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please?
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting area variances from the parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, we'll turn to you, gentlemen, who will be presenting for this matter.
I'll do most of the talking. So I have some handouts for you. I don't know if we had a digital presentation or not, but this is kind of a more in-depth look at the project overall. Our main goal today is we're seeking a variance on the number of parking spaces provided, as well as that's our primary goal here today. And then our secondary goal is possible variance on the minimum parking size square footage for our ADA parking spaces. I got a big board here, sorry there's one little input up, but so this is the proposed site plan. This is kind of a close-up of our Globe Iron renovation. So we did get City Planning Commission final approval from City Planning Commission and all the local design reviews. Our Globe Iron renovation is this existing gray hatch right here. It's kind of on its own parcel right on the property lines. Adjacent to our building and our courtyard use is an existing 4-story historical building. There are a total of 3 adjacent parcels next to our building. One here, which is Nautica Entertainment leases. This one here, which Nautica Entertainment owns. And then underneath the bridge is leased by Nautica Entertainment from the county. Nautica Entertainment also has a large parking lot. And I'll show you more parking lot. Off to the side, on the other side is Spruce Street, which houses a large amount of parking already. So none of the parking that we propose in our zoning code are actually on our parcel, but they're directly adjacent to our parcel and owned or leased by the same landlord as the Globe Iron Foundry building. Nautica Entertainment, parking-wise overall, within the immediate area has a total of 1,800 parking spaces overall. So Lot K is the one directly adjacent to our project that we're proposing. Lot J is our renovation that we're proposing that's underneath the bridge and expanding our parking lot there. But we also have Lot P, Lot I here, and then all down in the lower Mesa Flats are all owned and operated by Nautica Entertainment that are available and agreed upon use for our tenant, which is AG Presents for the concert venue. So we're seeking a variance to go, I think we're short by a couple dozen parking spaces, but since we have access to Lot I with the same ownership and landlord group, this Lot I has 90 spaces available. Lot F has 95 spaces available, so between those 2 lots we have more than enough directly adjacent to our property to meet our parking requirement. And here's some more details. Sorry, these aren't flipping these things. We have a more detailed parking lot thing. So the parking lot off on the other side of Spruce Street is existing to remain. That's been restricted in use for a little while. And this is where most of our parking lot work is directly adjacent. We're providing a majority of our ADA parking spaces for the venue. Additional bike parking and scooter parking as well.
Will you have bike racks there?
Yes, we're meeting the requirements for bike racks. So we have bike racks enough for both the parking lot adjacent to us and this parking lot as well. So we cover enough bike parkings for both of those lots. We're trying to keep it simple and short. So, are there any other specific questions or concerns that we
What's
can address?
the photo in the back? Is that not this project?
That's not this project.
Okay.
We don't keep foam boards around the office as
I was
much
just
anymore, so I had to go to the
wondering.
archive a little bit and dig around.
Nice that visualization there. Can we go back to that second photo?
The overall parking?
Yes, and where is your facility?
It would be where this Lot J. So the Lot J is kind of our new lot that we're proposing as part of the renovation directly adjacent to us.
Super helpful, thank
So
you.
this block right here.
And what is the historic building next door?
It is a 4-story Globe Iron building. Currently, it's vacant. I know the owner, this was also Nautica Entertainment. They're working on possible reuses or figuring out
Okay.
possible future reuse of that building.
And you are, with respect to ADA parking, where is the ADA parking?
So this lot, Lot K already has established ADA parking along what is formerly Spruce Avenue. Spruce Avenue has been vacated, and I think in all the legal documents. But Lot K has its own requirement of ADA parking is associated with it. And then our new development, for this lot here, we have our 4 handicap spots as an advanced spot for just this lot over here.
Okay.
So the
you're-
ratios between the two lots have been met with the ADA parking.
You've met them, okay.
And then these are the parking spaces here that are, I think, 8 feet by 18 feet per the minimum requirements for ANSI. But they also have the, the egressable width next to them. So I think that was our secondary request, is to get the minimum area of the accessory parking spaces approved.
And can you just sort of articulate what the difficulty would be if you were not to get the variance on the parking?
One, the venue is trying to open up and book shows as early as next spring. So we're trying to open up the venue, and one, to provide more parking would mean we have to either demolish, historical portions of the building to fit more and accommodate more parking, which was the main goal of this project, was to keep as many of the historic buildings and find adaptive reuse for them, not demolish them. And then the secondary hardship, if we don't get parking, we have to find parking or figure out another way to incorporate parking. We lose our green space within our project, and then we also risk project delays in terms of getting venues and concerts going in next year.
And with respect to losing your green space, is that this courtyard?
Yes,
So,
which acts as the main feature as part of the venue, and what kind of makes it,
so what
unique.
you're saying is, if you were not able to obtain your variances today, this building would have to be demolished and this green space would be modified?
Yes.
Okay.
And, part of the things that took us a long time to get through our planning commission is because of us trying to maintain and keep that historic building intact.
Well, historic buildings are important
Yes.
to BZA as well.
Yes.
Any other questions, board?
None for me, Madam Chair, thank you.
Ms. Holzer? Okay, then we'll turn it over to city.
So we actually have Dan Schenkel here, the neighborhood planner for the area.
Hey folks, good morning. Dan Schenkel, I'm the principal planner for city planning and the administrator for Downtown Flats. They've come through Downtown Flats design review, as well as city planning commission, received final approval.
Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't swear you in, sorry.
I'm staff, but if you used to swear me in, that's fine.
I think we still do.
Yeah, I think we still do.
Mary does it, yeah.
So,
Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name and your address.
I do, Dan Schenkel, DANSHINKLE, 1001 Huron Road East, apartment 906, Cleveland, Ohio.
Thank you.
thank you. Sorry, we'll have you start again.
Yeah, so I'm the principal planner for Downtown Flats, design review. They came through and got approval, final approval from the neighborhood planning area region, and then came to the city planning commission as well for final approval. We're in support of the project overall. They've worked very closely with us to modify things over time. We actually thought that there was maybe an administrative error on the size of the parking space. It sounds like you guys actually do have a slightly smaller ADA space. Typically, we'd like all those things to match, but to the applicant's point, there's an area adjacent for unloading for ADA. So from that standpoint, I think we'd be fine with variance.
Okay. Thank you. And just one last question from me to the appellant. One, this is paid parking to the,
Correct.
okay, paid parking. And is it staffed and I know the other parking lots that Nautica owns in that area have people working there?
Yes.
And, okay. All right. I don't have any other questions for the appellant or the city. Thank you so much to all of you. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure, I'm happy to make a motion, Madam Chair. Based on the testimony that we've heard in calendar number 24-081, I would move that we approve the request.
Do I have a second?
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. Ms. Kukla, can you call the roll, please?
Sure. Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Rocco?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-081 is granted. Will be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter. Please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to the next case, Ms. Holzer.
Our next case is calendar number 24-082. It's at 12114 Lenape Avenue. Robbie Kaysen, owner, proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants in a B12 family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will swear in all who are present for this matter. I take it that you're present. Is there anyone else present for this matter? All right, I'll swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand. Reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Robbie Kaysen, 12114 Leonard Crave, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
Okay, and spell your name for us.
Robbie, Robbie, last name Cayson.
Okay, thank you so much. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. I think I'm Ms. Kukla? Yes, with the history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no changes in zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1924, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling in a garage. 1968, a permit was issued to demolish and replace a one-story frame garage on the property. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kukla. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particularly to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Kaysen, we'll have you present your case. Please go ahead.
I just want to do a group home, and they said it's 1,000 feet from another group home. I thought that's why they said I couldn't have it. But according to Google and them walking sticks, I'm 1,300 feet from the other group home. And I would rather legally open a group home where I could be regulated by the state as opposed to just renting rooms out and I have no say-so on what they do. I'm an independent provider and I'm certified with the Ohio Department of Aging. So I'll be able to work with their caseworkers and make sure they're getting the help that they need mentally and physically. So that was also a plus for me being able to have it legal. If I don't have it legal, I have no right to their caseworkers or none or nothing. I just be renting rooms out to people. So I would legally like to have a group home regulated by the state if I could have some leeway.
So when we have cases like this, we go through a list of factors that apply to your facility. So first, how many bedrooms, how many occupants per room in your facility?
I have 3 bedrooms upstairs and 1 downstairs. Each bedroom will have 1 person, except I have this one real big room. I'm gonna put 2 in there. But other than that, everybody gonna be in a single room.
So 1 person to a room, except 1 room will have 2.
Yep.
How many bathrooms?
1.5.
1.5, okay. And the type of population of your clients, are ages,
Older.
so seniors,
Yes.
over the age of
I
55
hadn't
or?
thought that far, as far as the age.
Okay. Are you going to have clients with any type of developmental disabilities or any other special needs?
It may, that's why I said I'm an independent provider and I'll be able to work with their caseworkers. And
Okay.
I have somebody in Murders Taylor I'm in cahoots with. So I'll be able to work with him and work with them to make sure they're getting the help they need or medication they need and everything.
So the caseworkers will be administering any medication that is needed?
Yeah.
Okay.
And social help, like if they need the doctor's appointment for their mental health or just an older person needing help for whatever reason.
Will you be providing transportation?
Yes.
How many employees will you have?
2.
Just 2 caseworkers?
Well, me and another.
Oh, so 3 total.
Yeah. No.
2 caseworkers
two
and then you?
including me.
Oh,
No,
2
me
including
and
you,
yeah.
okay.
2.
2 people,
Yeah.
got it. And I'm trying to think, I think those are all my questions right now. I'll open it up to the rest of the board.
Will those 2 workers be full-time on site?
One or the other. Like if I'm not there, she'll be there. So there will be someone there all day, 24 hours.
And has there been any conversation with neighbors, CDC, council member?
No, but all my neighbors, I've been having a house for like 35 years. It's like a family over there. Like they all know I'm trying to do a residential facility there. And it's actually an empty lot next door. I keep trying to get the land bank say they don't own it and the city said it ain't there, so I'm trying to figure out how I can get the empty lot next door.
Okay. And did I hear you say that that someone will be there 24 hours, so it'll be a 24-hour operation?
Yeah, somebody
Okay.
always gonna be there. And I also had cameras in communal areas. Not the
Cameras
bedrooms.
in communal areas?
I think I'm saying the word right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the hallways, kitchen, living room, dining room, the living area, but not in their bedrooms or the bathrooms.
Okay.
I do have a few questions now.
Sure.
What steps are you taking to make sure that this use would not be disruptive to your neighbors?
Good question. That's why I wanted to be legal by the state so I could have some control over when they come and go or what they can and can't do. As far as me renting rooms out, I have no say so over what they do or how they do it. That's why I wanted to be legal and by the state so that it could be regulated.
Okay, and if you do not get the variance, is there a hardship that you would experience as a result of that?
A big hardship.
Okay, can you describe that, please?
Well, if I just rent rooms out, I can't charge that much for a room. But if I'm by the state, I get to offer my services and I get charged for my services and for their room and board. So it'll be a huge, huge difference.
Okay. That concludes my questions, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And do you have anything else you'd like us to consider? Okay. Well, then I will ask, I'm sorry.
Actually, Madam Chair, I do have a question. If the appellant, I'm not sure if she stated whether or not there would be services like counseling or job coaches coming in or any sort of services provided on site. Also, I think you generally ask about meals and curfews and things like that. I'm not sure if I heard the appellant say those things as well.
Okay, the curfews only go if you allow me to have it, and I could be regulated by the state, then I could issue a curfew, but if not, I can't control when somebody come or go. And meals are provided if I'm being able to open up a legal group home, but if they just rent rooms out, I'm not gonna provide no meals. What else was it? The services. I won't personally provide services, but, I forgot the name of the place I just said, Murtis Taylor. That's why the transportation will be able to take them to and from counseling sessions and appointments and everything.
Okay, with respect to the curfew, what, assuming your variances are granted today, what will the curfew be?
I was thinking like 10 o'clock would be the latest.
10 p.m.?
I mean, they are grown people, so I can't be like, but I think 10 o'clock more than respectable to be in.
Yeah, it is
lunchtime.
important though that, you know, you're respectful to your neighbors as well.
That's why I said I think that's more than a respectful amount of time.
Have you been in touch with the council person for your area about this project?
No, I went to see him, but they told me he no longer have an office here. And to
Okay.
go somewhere else, I went there and I didn't know where to go.
Okay. And then the meals, again, assuming we grant your variances, you'll be providing 3 meals per day?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
And you or the other person, the other caseworker, will be preparing those meals
Yes.
at the house?
And it's not a caseworker. She's an independent provider also, a provider.
Okay.
We working with their caseworkers. Each
I
person had
see.
individual caseworkers. So I want to mislead you in saying I'm gonna have a counselor there. I will have providers there.
Okay, yeah, no, you want to get it right because you're on the record.
That's why I said let me correct that.
Yeah.
But we work very closely with their caseworkers.
Got it. All right, any other items that we might have?
Madam Chair, just for clarification, she mentioned 5. Do we have the appellant also state for the record that it would be 5 and no more than 5? We want to make sure we have that.
5 residents and no more than 5 residents, is that accurate?
5 residents for the group home, that's not including me though.
Right.
Right.
So it's 6 including me.
Yeah, but you don't, you're
That's
living
why
there
I'm
as
not
well.
sure if y'all counting me. Or if y'all just counting the residents.
You'll be living there.
Yeah, I got 2 rooms in the basement, but I can't count them as rooms for the group home because it don't have 2 exits in the basement.
Okay, so you will be living there,
Yeah.
and then you will have 5
Yes.
other individuals living there?
Yes.
Okay. And the other person working with you will not live there?
No.
Okay. Ms. Kukla, anything else
I
that
think
we?
that's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. And then I'll turn it over to the city.
Hello, my name is Xavier Bay, zoning planner on staff representing city planning. On the map here, I'm showing where they're located in proximity to the other currently existing residential facility. Typically, we wouldn't recommend approval because of the oversaturation of these facilities, but you can see that this is right on the edge. If they were just across the street, they'd be right outside of this buffer. So, situations like this are more debatable. They are working with bona fide, institutions throughout the community, so that's another positive. But we wouldn't mind recommending approval for this case.
Okay, thank you, city planning. Any other questions from the board?
No questions from me, thank you.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
I can take it.
Okay.
So Madam Chair, having heard testimony from the owner and from city planning, I move approval of calendar number 24-082. Would you like me to reaffirm hours?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go through
All right,
the
let me
list.
look at my notes. So there will be no more than 5 residents on site 2 workers will be on-site rotation full-time. Meals will be served. I might need a friendly amendment to make sure that I've captured everything.
Senior
Target population is seniors with additional services provided by a caseworker. And then the curfew, which I don't have noted.
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Thank you. And that's it. Again, we'll take the friendly amendment if I missed anything.
I don't.
I think you got it
covered
all.
it.
I will
Okay.
second the motion.
Thank you.
Great. Ms. Kukla? Do you call the roll, please?
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Rocco?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-082 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We'll send you a letter, but please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with your project.
Good luck. Yeah, you are moving right along.
All right, next case on the agenda is 24-084. Ms. Holzer, you could read it in, please.
Our next case is calendar number 24-084. This is at 2111 West 33rd Place. Michael Madonia, owner, proposes to build a 3-story, 2,177 square foot single-family residence with attached garage in a 1,600 square foot lot located in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 6. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for you.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. Is there anyone present for this matter? All right, I'll have you come up to the table, please. All right, I will swear in all who are present for this matter. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? I'll start with you. Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Ariana Bankovich, Arianna Bankovich at 2096 West 32nd Street, Cleveland, Ohio 44113.
Okay, thank you. I'll go with you next, please.
I do. Michael Madonia, Michaelmadonia, and 2096 West 32nd Street, Cleveland, Ohio 44113.
Okay, thank you.
I do. Michael Horton, Michaelhorton, 812 Huron Road East, Suite 305, Cleveland, Ohio 44115.
All right, we have everyone sworn in. I'll hand it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Kukla, if you could give us the history of the property, please.
Sure, Madam Chair, there's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We didn't find any records in our administration office. There are no variances on file, and nothing of note in the more recent history.
Wow, nothing.
Nothing.
No history. This house has no history. I doubt that's
Unusual,
true.
right?
Thank you. We'll move over to legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from maximum gross floor area, minimum lot width, minimum lot area, maximum height limit, and rear yard depth requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, we will move to you all to present your case.
I'll take it away here. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Michael Horton with Horton Harper Architects. Oh, great. I think we could just maybe stay with the slideshow. I do have individual packets.
Yeah, we'll take those since we are operating without
I could not procure.
normal technology today.
All good. I could not procure a board in the final hours on Friday, but I think the packets and the presentation will suffice.
It's okay, we don't require the foam board. The old school way.
Yeah, we are working with Michael and Ariana on the design of their home. And the parcel sits along West 33rd Place, which is a narrow alley. Earlier, a few months back, we were in front of the Planning Commission to request a lot split in order to identify this back parcel as its own separate parcel, to separate it from the parcel that they own on West 32nd Street. And so we can kind of move somewhat quickly through these initial slides to get a sense of the context, but you can see here's the parcel off of West 33rd Place. Next slide. Here's a view looking south from West 33rd Place. So you can see the structure on the left, which is sort of the 2.5-story gray home. The lot is directly in front of that in the foreground. Next slide. This is a view looking north from Chatham down West 33rd Place. Again, you can see the structure to the right, the gray house. Their vacant parcel is immediately after that. Here is just some precedent imagery. These are some homes, newly constructed homes in the neighborhood that are off the alleys and either have the same scale in terms of 2 to 3 stories or have a front-loaded garage. You can see there's a certain kind of way that these homes have to be designed in order to accommodate a 2-car garage and still maintain adequate sight lines because we're so close to the street, we don't have sidewalks, we don't have tree lawns. So although it's not the greatest urban strategy to have a garage in front of the door, however, it's the safest.
And can you elaborate on that, because that's normally a question that we have.
Right, so.
Why is it the safest?
Because when a car is backing out, when you're in the car, you want to be able to see traffic. And when you don't have, typically when you have structures that are in the foreground and you can't necessarily see it, you can see it, well, actually, let's look at the garage beyond that little shed. So you can see if a car is backing out of that shed, they can't really see any additional traffic beyond that red house because a kid on a bike, they can't. So what we're trying to do is open up those sight lines, and if we put the door in front of the garage, it would actually obstruct that view. So it's the, I don't want to say only, but one of the only conditions where the front-loaded garage is safer, and because we're on the alley, it's one of the only conditions where historically we've been able to have that approved, because we certainly recognize that front-loaded garages don't enhance the experience of the street, the walkability, the pedestrian experience, eyes on the street, all of those things that we all champion. But in alley conditions, there are some exceptions to the rule, and there has been some back and forth with planning on that.
Great, thank you.
And that was one of the reasons that we think that it did get lot split approval, because we did discuss some of these situations with the planning commission.
Thank you.
Two other examples of some precedent on the street, but we can move to the next slide. So here is our site plan. So West 33rd Place is to the left, and you can see that we have, this is kind of a roof plan only, so you can see the driveway. We have a 16-foot wide garage door, so we have approximately about an 18-foot wide driveway, and then you can see the kind of the sidewalk off of the porch. So we have a recessed front entry. We needed to put the driveway up to the north and the entry down to the south in order to maintain those sight lines that the building at 2117 West 33rd Place, again, that's the building that's creating those visual sightline obstructions, because that building is constructed almost right on the property. So we've set the garage door back 8 feet, and we've set the entry back 12 feet. Next slide. And this is just kind of get a sense of the floor plan. Primarily, the first floor takes up the 2-car garage. We have a small 2 rooms in the back on the first floor with stairs going up, and then primary living space, kitchen, living, dining on the second floor, and then on the third floor we have the bedrooms. Next slide. And a small roof deck which we've centered so it's not so visible from the street to break down the perceived height of the building, and we've also set it back off of the exterior wall again, to kind of hide it so it doesn't feel so tall compared to some of the more cottage style bungalows and the surrounding streets. Next slide. So here's a visual of what we're proposing, and you can see we've got the taller portion of the house to the south, so it has a relationship with the 2.5-story structure next door, and then we have a pitched roof on the left or the north to help kind of manage these two different scales with the front loaded garage as well, kind of in the foreground. Next slide. Similar view to get an understanding of the building's scale. We had to in order to, it feels a little taller here because we had to widen the camera angle in the rendering program so it feels very ultra thin. But this is kind of an idea of what that will feel like eventually when the home's constructed. Next slide. And these are just some additional exterior elevations. The building will be clad primarily in a corrugated metal material in a green color, which we think is vibrant and welcoming. Next slide. And just some images of the back of the building. Next slide, please. And this is just kind of a section cut to kind of understand what's going on at the different levels. You can see that the roof deck is tucked back, again, to try to make the building not feel so tall near its neighbors. Next slide. Material palette, again, corrugated metal asphalt shingle roof. Next slide. And then these were some variance notes that we can touch on. Certainly, we have some correspondence from Brittany, the neighborhood planner. She hasn't submitted a formal approval notice to us yet, but she did write in an email that she approves the design. We got it a little later than we expected, but we do have record of that in the packet. The only note I wanted to make on the notice of nonconformance is that, at least from our experience in these projects for the past maybe 10 years, that this isn't technically a height variance because the structure that is above the 35-foot limit is actually just rooftop access to the deck, and those typically don't count in the height calculation. I just wanted to highlight that. I don't really think that should be a variance.
I'm just going to pause you for just 1 second while we have Ms. Leonard here. Can you confirm or deny that statement?
So generally speaking, when it's stepped back a certain foot from the property line, you can go up to an additional height fixture. So I'm not looking, I don't have a copy of what's on the screen right now.
So I think they're proposing, 40 feet, right?
So if we could go to the, I can hand this to you if you'd like.
Sorry.
No, of course, yeah. So if we go to the exterior elevation, if we could go forward a few slides. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Should be another one. Keep going. Keep going. 2 more. Perfect. Okay. So here we have two different conditions in the roof line. The first is the pitched roof. So the pitched roof's height is calculated by taking the midpoint of the pitch, which we've called out on the top left elevation. The height limit in this area is 35 feet, which, although we don't have a dimension string to it, our parapet for that roof deck is at 35 feet. The taller portion on your right, if we look at the top left front elevation of the building, that enclosure is required in order to access the roof deck. And so there's an exception in the zoning code, other heights, which is what's highlighted here, that those rooftop access penthouses, sometimes they call them penthouses, sometimes they call them enclosures, those
roof deck, we get it.
Yeah. Or we'll call them dog houses. They're always taller than 35 feet because you need to access the roof deck. So that one architectural element is historically been does not count in the height calculation because it's part of the exception that is called out in one of those ordinances. We could have brought it up prior to the hearing, but it was overlooked. So we're here now to talk about that. It may be granted regardless, but it just typically we don't see that on these types
So
of
you're not
projects.
disputing, I guess what I'm trying to get clarification on is, do you need a variance for number 4?
The answer is no.
The answer is no. Okay, so we will be removing that variance.
That's all I have in terms of presenting. We're happy to answer any questions about the project.
I think you've hit on the project quite well. Is there anything else that you want to add to why you need the area variances?
No, other than based on the typically in most of these lots in these neighborhoods, even if you built a house the size of a small table, those area variances would be required regardless. So we're used to them. They're very typical. Having at least 4 for a project like this is not uncommon. So we appreciate that the board understands the challenges that come with the current zoning code, but certainly we're here to answer any questions if any of them are issues to anyone else.
Great, thank you. And you're not in the historic district.
Mhm.
Just noting that. I do not have any questions at this time, so I'll open it up to the board for their questions.
Did we talk about the rear yard requirement?
Not in specificity.
So it looks like I'm looking at the drawing, they're requesting, it's 7? Am I reading that correctly?
7.
The depth of the required rear yard shall be no less than 20 feet or less than the height of the main building.
So I can talk about it. So yes, it is. That is a variance. When we have deeper lots, we're able to accommodate things like that. Usually, lots that are 100 or more can get us 20 feet. However, here the way that we assess the footprint of this structure, specifically in preparation for our presentation to Planning Commission when we were applying for a lot split, was we looked at the density based on the split of the lot. We aligned the location of where that lot would be split with the residence next door. If you can see, this is perfect. The parcel at the bottom, if we look at the top left, that parcel there, you can see that that's where they split their property. So we tried to be as contextual as possible and split the parcel in the same location. From there, once we established that, our front yard setbacks were based on visibility and safety. In our rear yard setback, we actually said, well, what if this is a 2-unit townhouse and we applied for the townhouse code? We use the townhouse code, even though it's not a townhouse, as a reference to gauge what would be an appropriate setback in that rear yard. And that's how we came to the 7 feet. So really, before even designing the entire project, we established a footprint based on safety, visibility, historical precedent, the townhouse code, and side yard setbacks in multifamily districts.
Thank you. Ms. Walter, do you have any other additional questions?
Not at this time.
Ms. Wilson? Thank you. I do have an additional question with respect to the neighborhood process. Did you speak to your neighbors? Did you go through the CDC or the council person? Did you have any communication with anyone around you? Was there any feedback on the project? I know this is a very active area. I happen to live in Ohio City too,
Yes.
so if you could talk us through that.
Absolutely. They did not have a June South of Lorraine Block Club meeting.
Okay.
And we were awaiting some feedback from the city, from the design feedback from the city before we went in front of the Block Club. That order didn't align, so we got that feedback last week. They didn't have the June meeting, so we're going to be in the July or August?
August.
August. So we're going in front of the Block Club in August.
After you've already seen us.
Yeah. the signs have been out, and I'm speaking a little bit for the two of you because they've been primary correspondent with the block club chair. The block club chair has received the drawings. He has sent it out to the neighbors. There has been no feedback yet from the neighbors. And I think it's in the correspondence too. So he said he sent them out. We have the email proof that they're
Yeah,
in
I saw that.
circulation, but there's no, there hasn't been any feedback or determination yet.
And nothing, the council person or the CDC or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right, board, unless you have any other questions? Oh, we did not hear from city planning. I apologize. Thank you very much for the reminder, Ms. Wilson. City planning.
Xavier Bay, representing city planning. As the applicants and the architect has actually mentioned, the dimensions of this lot are going to bring about similar variances for any type of infill development that happens here. I guess a side note would just be, it would be good to see like more glazing on the first story, just for more safety along the alley, but that's not really in front of you today. That's all I had to say. We recommend approval.
Would you be open to more glazing? It's not a requirement of variance, but.
Yeah, it's a little insider baseball there.
Okay.
Glass.
It's not a requirement of your case today, but, you know, if you're open to that feedback.
I would say our only reason that we limited the number of windows on the first floor was just security point of view. We wanted to limit the glass on the first floor in and out.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah, the main, I guess, if you're wondering why I asked, the main concern, the way that we're thinking in city planning is just to increase eyes on the street, you know, along the alleyway. Yeah, it's not a variance that they're asking for today, so it's,
As a supporter of those same principles and values, that is one of the reasons that we had the habitable, usable rooms on the first floor in the back, which have windows. On the second floor, that's why we have those large windows in the front. And that's going to be the most occupied space. It's a pretty big window. And then also on the second floor above the door, you'll be able to stand in that and then look down at the entry. So you have views. There's actually a window. Yeah, so you'll have views of the street. I mean, that window will be larger than that screen. It's a big window, and I think it's really going to bring a lot of eyes on the street, considering that that's the primary living space there. But we certainly understand the importance of it.
Thank you. And I appreciate the additional commentary about the garage as well. As you noted, front-loaded garages aren't typically something that we want to see from a walkability perspective and safety, but this, given the alleyway and where this property is located, it seems to make sense here. All right, I don't have anything else. Unless the board has anything else, I will entertain a motion.
I have no questions, but I will make a motion that we approve calendar number 24-084 based on the testimony we've heard today.
I second the motion.
Ms. Kukla, if you could call the roll, please. Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holter?
Yes.
Ms. Rocha?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-084 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter. Please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday for further discussion.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the community process. They are filing out here. We have our next case. I believe it is 24-085. Ms. Holzer, if you can read that into the record, please.
Sure thing. Our next case is calendar number 24-085. This is at 1721 Denison Avenue. David Johnston, owner, proposes to erect a 6-foot tall wood fence and gate in a B1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hoser. I'll go ahead and swear you in since you are present. Is there anyone else present for this matter?
Oh,
Okay,
yes?
awesome.
You don't have to move, I mean, do we have to? Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we can
come
hear
on
them better if we
Okay.
They're filming it, so.
All right. Okay, I'll swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are going to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your name, reply with I do, give your
I
address.
do. David Johnston, Johnston.
Okay, and your address.
1721 Denison.
Okay,
That's
thank
the
you.
address in question. My residence is 3853 West 18th Street, which is the property directly in back.
Got it. Okay, thank you. All right, I will now turn to you. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? Okay, can you state your name and spell your name and give your address?
My name is Mrs. Sun, Sun, 38 West 18th Street,
And spell your name for us.
yes. Harehajdan, Sun, Sain.
Okay, got it.
S-A-I-N.
Do you intend to speak as well?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and swear in, please.
So I do. Asha Whitfield, A-S-H-A. Last name Whitfield, W-H-I-T-F-I-E-L-D. And home address is 12007 Atherton Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 4413.
Okay,
I'm
thank
sorry,
you.
I couldn't, Son is the first name?
Mine?
No, yours?
Oh, no. First name is Harbhajan.
I didn't get the spelling of that.
H-A-R.
H-A-R.
B.
Okay.
H-A-J-A-N.
J-A-N. Thank you. Bajan.
Yeah.
Sound got it.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in this matter? They're looking at you. Do you intend to speak? No? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
My name is Kuldeep Whitfield, K-U-L-D-E-E-P. Last name Whitfield, W-H-I-T-F-I-E-L-D. I live 12007 Matheson Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44135.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I think we've sworn in everyone, so I'll hand it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. I'll move to Ms. Kukla for the history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found in 1926 a permit was issued to erect a one-story store. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, Appellant is requesting an area variance from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. All right, I'll turn it over to the appellant for your testimony, please.
I deem this as an emergency for the fence coming down from Denison Avenue. It's set back to the property of, the property line at 3853 West 18th, the property line for those. I have a constant issue. Come up in the morning, there's condoms laying in my yard, needles. It's just an ongoing battle, and the police are not able to do anything about it because they don't have enough police to surveil the area. And at this time, I would just like that fence going from the property line, not the property line, there's a fence already existing, right there. There's a building at 18th, and that fence is already there, landscaping. I want to come down here and go all the way to the back and then make that a boxed-in area. No, I'm going to leave that go for right now, just this fence here, so that we can control the situation.
I'm looking at yours as well. So he's talking about,
Yeah, that's one.
we're just pulling it up on a map here, this side of the property.
So it seems like this.
Yeah. And in relation to this building, you live,
And, well, that house directly in back right there, yeah, that's it.
okay,
That's 3853 West 18th Street.
Got
And where the pin is, I just want to complete that, block that area off, because next to that, there's nothing. There's a vacant lot there, and it's become a dumping ground. I'm tired of cleaning it up. The city owns it. I put an application for a side yard, and I've been cutting the grass at it, and I haven't had a response from the city as yet about the application. It,
so it looks like there's an existing fence right now.
yeah, well, there's a fence there and the shrubbery. All I want to do then is come all the way down the line to the garage property pin.
Got it. And tell us more about the fence that you'd like to put in. What type
So
of
it's a wood
material?
fence. It's the one in the front is a vertical, the one on the side will be a horizontal. And it'll have an effect, it'll look like a weave.
And 6 foot tall.
Yes.
And it's going to be board on board.
Yes.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add to your testimony at this time before we open it up to? No? Okay. And would you like to provide comment?
My grandmother, she lives next door.
And next door, we're going to go to the map again. It's a little
Off of West 18th, so it's 38.
Oh, here we go. This helps. Thank you.
So.
Okay.
Just below the yellow box, the next door neighbors, she's 3861 and 3855. She owns the 2 residences.
Okay.
Two on the picture just below the yellow square.
Okay. Right there.
So on 18.
On 18.
Okay.
Yes,
So the
that-
white house and looks like a white house, and then the other grayish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then the backyard there is a pretty open space, but we can see, or she can see their yard as well as that open lot.
Right.
There. And not the same kind of issue with things on the lawn or anything like that in the morning, but the open concept is really nice. I do have a picture of from her backyard what it looks like into that open lot area. There's a special needs cousin of mine that stays with my grandmother, that's her grandson. They like to sit in the open backyard and the green of the space, and I will try to show you a picture on my phone. I don't have a slide, but it is very calming. They do like that. The fence would feel like it would hinder, just create this like sense of like a box feeling for them if it's like a 6 foot high fence. But she's here today just to kind of say she objects. She doesn't like the idea of the fence, doesn't want it, feels like a barrier, but does enjoy like the green, the openness of a space. There is a fence separating their yards already, with the gate. But if you would like them,
I'd like to see it.
yes. from the backyard, this is like one view. That is Denison, the new street. This is bumping up to Indiana. That's where.
Online. I should be able to see this online. Your,
Yeah, so this is the green lot there. That's he's proposing, looks like it's going to be just coming from the cul-de-sac. So it's going to connect to that corner there and then come back. It's not really going to be interacting most of the green lot. Because this is Denison, right? Yeah. So the Presky proposing is connecting to the corner of the existing fence and then kind of being towards. So it'd be going along this line. So it looks like you should still be able to see a lot of this green area here, but then you can see it's going to be like this, which is the right side of the yellow box. And just come out of view here, because it looks like that house is where that black and white car is. Looks like this is that house. The picture she was showing me is an angle from the rear here, pointing this way. And this is the main green area that they want to keep visibility to. But it looks like on the image she showed, there should be still a lot of visibility to the green lot. On the very left side of the picture, I saw the corner of the existing fence, and I was just explaining that fence is going to be extended down toward the property line. Does that make sense,
That's helpful.
everybody?
Yes, that was very helpful,
Yeah.
thank you.
So it shouldn't obstruct the
It
view.
seems.
Not more than 20%, 15%.
There's no obstruction. If the grass was cut by the city in that yard, they'd be able to see anything they want on Denison Avenue. This is a security for me, for my property. When you look, it's running along from the back of the garage up to the existing fence on Denison. It's not on Denison, it's set back, I think it's 40 feet is set back. So, their objection is unreasonable. This is a security issue for my property. The city, if they take the grass cut down, they could look right out to Denison Avenue. There's no obstructions whatsoever.
All right, thank you very much. I'll open it up to the board for questions that you all might have.
Yes, I do have a question. So I am hearing that you have some security concerns. Can you explain why the need for the 6-foot tall fence as opposed to a 4-foot fence as allowed by the code?
Well, it's in between properties. The property the address of the property that is open now, there was a house there. It was 1711 Denison Avenue. I don't know the parcel number, but the house was filled with junkies and drug addicts, and it just never went away. They keep coming back. Some of them have been arrested, but they just keep coming back. And I've got Gatorade bottles filled with syringes that have been picked up in that area. They still keep coming back. There's a drug issue there. And what they're suggesting is unreasonable. They want to look at that nonsense going on, that's fine. Like I said, it's up to the city to cut the grass. I'm not cutting it anymore. I used to keep that looking like a fairway in a golf course. And the city doesn't want to turn the property over to me, so let the city maintain it. There's junk all over the 2 yards. The other yard there that they have that visual effect of is loaded with old tires and all kinds of debris. The city came in and cut the grass and made one piece of paper 20 pieces of paper by shredding it and blowing it all over the place. The yards need to be cleaned up. I'm not cleaning them anymore. The city needs to do it. I need the 6-foot fence for privacy and security.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Wilson?
Nothing else, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Ms. Holzer, do you have any questions for the appellant or the neighbors?
I don't. I think to the neighbors, just, so if he's allowed to build a 4-foot fence. And
What is that? Is that a fire alarm?
No. It's an alarm of sorts. We don't.
Don't get up and run.
It has a, yeah, they may be just testing it in the house.
Okay. As long as we're not going to burn down in the building, then.
No, so you can please evaluate.
Okay.
Well, generally, it's up to them.
Okay, so back to the 4-foot fence.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if it were a 4-foot fence with 50%, at least 50% open, he could build it without needing a variance, correct?
I defer that to Shannon Leonard.
Yeah, so in the front yard, if you would make it 50% open and 4 feet tall, it's in front of the front yard setback line. So what we're referring to here, if you go back to one of the other images of the side yard. So along here, this isn't the best image, but there is a house immediately to the south, which I believe is owned by the applicant. And what he's asking is to extend the 6 feet beyond his home to also be the rear of that corner lot building that you see there. That's a retail type structure. And so that's where the problem comes in. So it should not be more than 4 feet or 50% open, and that's a pedestrian and vehicle safety impact issue. So if he ever were to sell his home and they were backing out, they'd have issues because there's a 6-foot tall fence there, as well as any adjacent properties down the street. They'll also have that same issue. That's why that rule is in the code, not allowing more than 4 feet in the front yard and 50% open. It also is a safety issue for pedestrians walking the street from Denison, and making sure that there's, if somebody were to be backing out of these driveways, they'd be able to see. Or if they're walking down the street, there's not, like, unfortunately, like perpetrators or things like that hiding behind the fence.
With the, you said 50% open, is that like a grid?
Yeah, so it's like board, it's not board on board, it's not solid, so across it would be, you have a picket, a space, a picket, a space, kind of like that.
Okay.
So that you'd be able to see, or it would be an ornamental type fence, so that it would be like wrought iron, and there's air between it.
Yes.
So that you can see on the other side of the fence.
Okay. Right now, between the houses, they have that kind of iron for the gated.
Chain link, sorry.
Yes.
Chain link.
Okay, and the chain link is also 50% open as well.
Okay.
Chain link is generally not permitted in the front yards without another variance.
Just on the property lines, but there's already there 4 foot already from the 2 houses. That's, I feel okay. She's very just like, doesn't want the 6-foot blocking. It's already, there is a little bit of, when we're talking about backing out of the driveway, a lot of people have big working vans that park on the street. That also, and trucks that just make it hard out of her driveway. When I'm coming to pick her up for one appointments, seeing beyond them, it's hard because it's right there off the main street coming in. We don't want first safety issue even more challenges to overcome with backing in and out of the driveway, picking up with any extra issues. But she's very like, she really is done that. So I'm just doing that.
Sure, and I think from the board's perspective, we do always want to ensure that there's pedestrian safety, and when people are walking on the sidewalk, that when cars are pulling in and out of driveways, that the humans can be seen. And so we appreciate your comments on that, and thank you, Ms. Leonard, for your comments as well. Do you want to pursue any additional questioning on that?
And I just want to make sure that I was following those. So there's a 6-foot fence being proposed on, is at the east side of the parcel. And then, but what I heard was, he had said that either the west side or the south side was not being,
No,
not proposing
I'm
it.
not going to do that. I just need that privacy and that
Just on the east
security between the property. The city property and along the property line to my building.
I don't think I appreciated that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I thought it was right where the yellow is.
Yeah, there it is.
But on the, so now this is different, right? So the north side would be Dennison,
Dennison on the east.
east side. So.
Which way should this
Which way-
map? Yeah, which way
I'm
should
looking
this
at
map
currently.
be turned?
And no, it's, so the West 18th would be the west.
Okay, so yeah, so it should be Dennison
This
this way.
This is north.
It's west of the house.
Okay.
Dennison is
so-
north.
And it'll run down the property line.
Yeah, so
There's no,
this is
there's
what
no
he's
driveway, there's just that vacant lot. And this is not going to obstruct any viewing
So
to
you-
Dennison Avenue.
So your fence is coming along the vacant property line. It's
Yes.
not on the front where Dennison is. It's not on 18.
No.
It's shown on
It's
the
just
map.
on the vacant.
Just on the vacant lot.
The building is 15 feet, 5-inch tall. Let me get up here. This is the building.
Right.
This is the existing
That's
fence
already
that's
there.
set back. I'm going from here to here. That's all.
it. Okay,
I'm
okay.
not gonna do this.
It's not up and around, so that's where
I
our confusion
understood
was.
when I talked with the fellow that came out about the obstruction for pedestrians and such, and I offered up a remedy of putting convex mirrors. But after I thought about it, I figured, why do it? We're more concerned with this back property where I showed you.
So is it still going to be open, given you're only doing one?
No, I'm closing that off. I want it so her property is right here. She will still have this to view out to Dennison Avenue.
Yeah.
This here will be there.
And then the property that, the vacant lot that you testified that you tried to purchase, that you've been maintaining, but it's a city lot, is that directly south of the dotted line?
That's where it says consolidated.
Yeah, so that's the city lot.
Yes, this here, from here. And then this one is the land bank. And both of them are not kept. I've been keeping it up for the past 5 years.
Yes.
Like I said, I've had it
We're just
cut.
trying to orient ourselves as to, because when we grant a variance, it runs with the property, so whoever owns that future property is going to be affected by this fence. That's why we're asking all these questions. Madam Kukla, Secretary Kukla.
Madam Chair, there's no variance needed then. A 6-foot tall fence is permitted along the interior property line.
Yeah.
Solid,
Oh,
yeah.
So that, okay, that,
It's just the
all right.
okay, all right, so after all this questioning,
Wanted to make sure that we were.
there was some confusion, it sounds like, with your application. So you'll need to resubmit your application, clarifying that you're only proposing the 6-foot fence on that particular side of the property, and then you will not need a variance. So what we're gonna do is, I mean, his options are, Ms. Kukla, to withdraw or to,
Yes.
or to keep his case.
So there are two, we would want to have him withdraw, or the board would dismiss, or the city would take their notice of non-conformance back, but technically, he can just make the amendment to the application that he gave us, and then take it back to building and housing.
Okay, so we would,
So we want for the record, either the board dismiss it or him ask for the withdrawal.
okay, let's just, we will dismiss it then, and you will have to refile.
Okay.
So either way, you're gonna have to refile. Either you would withdraw your case today.
Instead of reapplying, just amend the application.
Yes. And you will amend your application to clarify where the fence is going.
Yeah.
There's a lot of children that go to the school across the street. And when I talked with the gentleman from the city here, and I thought about it, that's why I'm withdrawing, along 18th Street there.
We understand. So you're gonna get to where you need to be. There's just a procedural issue that you'll need to amend your application. And can he go over and do that today, or are people not here today?
You can't do it today, I'm sorry.
Okay, unfortunately, you can't do that today because of the,
I mean, you could probably turn it in with this paper.
Have the computers come up?
no, I'm not sure on that. But can he turn in his paperwork today to anyone?
He can,
You can email it to me. I can give you my email address and I'll get it over to the plans.
Okay, Ms. Leonard is gonna give you her email address. And,
I don't have an email address.
okay,
So, that's why I'm here, because I was used to hello, goodbye, all these other features that have come into the situation. I don't understand them.
Yes.
And I just want to be in my private little area, enjoying hello, goodbye at best.
we understand. So let me confer with these two.
So, Madam Chair, I do have the hard copy. I can work with Ms. Leonard from Building and Housing. We can speak over the phone. If you could just state for the record that you are going to comply with the code.
Yes, I'm complying with the code.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
All right.
we will work together. Do you have, I'm with the Board of Zoning Appeals, so all of your paperwork that you received from us will have our phone number. So, and I believe I have yours as well. Yes, I have your phone number, so we'll talk over the phone later
Very
this
good. afternoon,
okay?
Okay.
Have a good day, ladies.
You too.
Thank you. And with respect to closing out this case, is there anything that we need to do, Ms.
I
Kukla?
think just state for the record that there's no objection to dismissing this.
Do you want this
There's no
drawing?
objection then at all to the putting the 6-foot fence along the.
You will be within the
property line.
code to do that, so there's no objection. And for the record, no objection to the appellant amending his case and proceeding with building or city planning. Thank you.
Right.
All right.
Once again, ladies, gentlemen, have a good day.
Thank you. And ladies, do you, okay, you're talking to Ms.
Yeah, I'm
Leonard.
letting them not show them here with the things there. But yeah, so it's only gonna be along the 1 line.
Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Great, and who will be the spokesperson? Which one of you will be speaking
We're
today?
probably both going to be speaking.
Okay, I'll let you start and present your case, please. Let us know what you'd like to do.
Well, it's not just a tattoo shop. I am an all-around artist. I do wood burning, oil painting, I make clothing, cups, I do airbrushing. So the back of the building, the front part is set up as a tattoo shop. If you come in the back, it's a complete art studio. I mean, whatever I pick up that day, pretty much I can create anything. So I will be selling other stuff out of the front windows. But the tattoo portion, I do have clients. I have been doing it for many years, and it is a portion of it, but that's why the name of the studio is Studios and not Tattoo Shop. So I do want to clarify it is more than just tattooing.
And so, do you own this building?
I am doing a lease to own with the owner right now.
Okay, and then typically we have a letter from the owner that the lessee is able to be here today and speak on this case. We're just checking for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything got sent in the first time.
Okay, we'll just double check.
Sorry, I didn't have that ready for you. Check one more thing. I'm not seeing it. So if you could send it again. Do you remember if you sent it email
I
or
think
did you
Ed
bring
sent
in?
it directly.
Ed is the owner of
Yes,
the
Ed
building.
Turk, yes.
Or Diane.
Or, yeah, she might have to.
Or Diane took his daughter.
Okay.
She handled his office.
It's not in the
You don't see it?
flyer.
Okay, so we're going to request that you contact Mr. Turk and have him send the Board of Zoning Appeals, Secretary Kukla, a letter stating that you are able to testify and act on his behalf. Oh, I don't know that we want to call him right now, because that's not going to help. But.
That's all right, we've taken it after the fact.
Yeah, we'll just need it, we'll just need it, right. No, we can proceed, but we will just need to get that letter.
And I can verify that it was, because I've been working with them for a while.
Absolutely.
on their
Okay,
joining
great.
line. Yes.
Thank you. But I just want to talk through a little bit more about so the tattoo parlor is the front, now we have the site plan, is the front part of the building.
Yes.
And then the back part of the building where the office, desk, bathroom, et cetera, that is your art studio.
No, behind that is my art studio. Behind, right there.
Okay.
Right here, and the back is the actual paint room. That is where all my DTF and DTG printers for making the clothing and everything is. And then the front half is the actual tattoo studio.
This
Okay.
is the rear half of the property.
Yes.
And when you say you're selling your art, where do people come in the back door?
No, they come through the front. Now, I have 2 front windows.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have my clothing, and I do these wood burn boxes and things like that. I do resin art, things like that, so that's gonna be in the front. And I have cases when you walk in that you can look through some of it. A lot of the clothing and stuff is gonna be internet, obviously, because a lot of people don't do a lot of retail shopping anymore.
Right.
But the front door is blacked out. You can't see in it. And I have a Ring doorbell to hit, because obviously to come into my shop, you have to be 18 years or older.
Mm-hmm.
So once the door is hit, you're asked for ID, you can come into the shop and look around. But the front windows and everything is gonna have nothing but t-shirts, paintings, things like that in it.
Okay. All right, so let's talk through your hours of operation, and then are you appointment only for your tattoo? Let's talk to the tattoo parlor piece of this project. Go ahead and give us more information about that.
Well, walk-ins, I do by appointment. I mean, walk-ins are welcome to walk up and set an appointment, but usually I already have somebody appointed for it. So walk-ins, I wouldn't say if my chair's empty and somebody walks in, I wouldn't take him right then, but I mean, most of the time tattoos are done by appointment.
Okay, so do you want, we would say you would be by appointment only per the, if your variance was granted today, would you like to, or do you want to be both?
No,
by
I would like to do both.
Okay.
Just in case, because I if I do take one, I want to make sure that it's done properly.
Okay. Got it. What are your hours of operation?
From 10 in the morning till 10 at night.
What days of the week?
Now, right now, I'm probably, to build the business, I'm gonna be there all week, but Sunday and Monday, or Monday and Tuesday will be my close days, once I
Okay.
actually get it going.
So you want 7 days a week?
Yes. And I do want to make sure that, I'm gonna stop taking people in at 10 o'clock. If somebody's in the chair, I might be in there finishing up something past then, but the lights and everything will be going off by 10 o'clock.
And what is next to you? Like, what are the businesses that are next door?
An abandoned building on one side and a closed down auto shop on the other, which I'm also looking to purchase.
Okay.
And then right down across the street, right there from that corner, is Saliga Drugstore.
Okay.
And then, there's nothing really else in any of the buildings around there.
Okay. And then you'll be doing tattoos and piercings, the regular?
Yes.
Yeah. And it looks like, let's have you testify to the variances here as well. Get to the right page. So you are close to a church or a daycare center, both, it looks like. St. Martin de Porres and St. Vincent Church, and a rec center. And those are, do we have them on our map?
I do not.
No? Okay, that's all right.
They're, well, St. Martin de Porres is on, across the street, on the, a block away, on the other
Okay.
corner, on the opposite side. St. Vitus, I was actually confirmed at that church. I've already been in talk with most of them.
Okay.
I actually have some of the signatures. When I first started, I was getting signatures to
Right.
make sure it was, and I actually have signatures from there. My wife actually graduated from St. Martin de Porres. So again, we have signatures from them too.
Okay, it's not a requirement, but, and also this is, you know, I think there's some changes coming in the new form-based code that relate to tattoo shops, as some of the code sections are a little outdated.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Bovasic Rec Center, I actually have with them too. I was one of the ones that helped paint the mural that used to be on there 30-some years ago.
Great.
So, yeah.
So it sounds like you're connected to the
Yes.
community.
Yes.
All right, so is there anything else you would like to tell us about the shop itself before I open it up to the council person's representative?
I mean, just like I said, I don't want to be known just as a tattoo artist. I want it to be known for all-around art.
Okay, great. All right, we'll turn it over to you. And it sounds like you've been working with the appellant on his project, so happy to hear how that's been going.
Yes, I have. So I work with the businesses in Ward 10, entire Ward 10, so that happens to be one of them. And I was in St. Clair Superior neighborhood. I worked for them for 14 years, so I'm very familiar with. So actually, there used to be a Subway shop next to.
Right next door, yes.
Right next door. So anyway, so both Councilman and I, separate days, have visited his shop. He has, I think, 3 chairs.
Yes.
Is it 3? Yeah, just 3 chairs, so it's not like a lot of chairs and people just be standing there. I mean, because we wanted to make sure that that wasn't the case, that it would be appointments, or if it's a walk-in, they make an appointment and not. So, so it's set up, it's clean, it's nice. He's put a lot of money into it, and then he has a separate area with the office, and so it's nicely, professionally, set up. The councilman is in favor of him opening this business. We just want to make sure that the business doesn't extend into the adjoining building. It just has to be in the building that, that he's in. The hours, of course, closing at 10 p.m. And no solicitation to, any type of solicitation to kids in the windows, any type of graphic, obscene graphics, things like that. None of that, or even stand-up signs outside the, the store. So, yeah, we are all for the darkened windows so people can't just go in there a lot. And then the retail, I saw some of the retail stuff. It will be at the front window. You won't be able to see in that is a tattoo shop. He's had a place before, I think on Broadway, and so he has a large following of, repeat business, very respectable people. So the councilman was comfortable once he saw his setup and operations that he was good with him having this business there. And I was good with it also.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And what is the name of your tattoo shop?
It is Psycho Ink Studios. I do a lot of psychedelic
he has it on
colors.
his shirt.
Yeah, actually, I
advertising.
do. All my colors are real bright and I have one of the guys that walk around in bright paint.
Advertisement.
Yes.
Got it.
So the psychedelic.
Yes.
My
yes.
art, it gets very.
And you do.
Like graffiti psychedelic mix. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And do you still have another location, or this is going to be your only
No,
location?
this is the only location.
Okay.
And I have one more thing to say. The fact that he grew up in the neighborhood as a child and has contributed to the neighborhood and has helped kids in the neighborhood with just different projects.
Yeah, I do
things like
plan on
that.
trying to do like an art class once a week for people in the back in the actual art studio. We do have a separate entrance and everything on the side of the building. And I mean, just for like teenage kids, mostly the ones that are getting in trouble, try to pull them away from that because I went through that.
Got it. Yeah.
So-
And he has helped that, so we're confident that he will abide by.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it sounds like you have the support of the councilman, so that's great. Thank you for your testimony as
you're
well.
welcome.
And I will open it up to the board. Board, do you have any questions for the appellant?
Yes, my question, if you are not granted your variances today, can you describe whether you would face any hardship?
Well, pretty much all my savings are in that building right now. So, yeah, it would be, it'd pretty much be starting over.
Okay. That answers my question.
Anything from you, Ms. Wilson? Great. I'll turn it over to the city then. City planning?
Thank you. Xavier Bay, representing city planning. We recommend approval for the variances being asked for today. As you briefly touched on, this section of the zoning code in particular is rather outdated. In the past, tattoo shops used to be seen as a very negative stakeholder, very negative just impact in the community. But today we see them, being like you were just like the applicant was just describing. It's a rebirth of the arts, and it's great to hear that he's actually going to use more of this space for an increased art studio space. And this would also, help really stabilize the corridor of St. Clair as well. There, like we heard today, testimony was given. There are vacancies all around St. Clair. This is actually like a very retail. It's a retail corridor. That's all I'm trying to say. So we don't see any problem with these variances.
Okay, great. Sure.
I will be working with him on new signage also. And, Shalita Drug is right across the street. They keep their property up. And then the mechanic shop next door, I work with them and they have planners, repaving, painting their building. And so with his addition, it'll kind of help ease our way east to get that street.
Try to get it back to what it looked like
looking nice.
when I was a kid.
Yeah, so.
Okay,
yeah.
great. And, whatever signage you do, just make sure that it complies with the code.
Oh, yeah.
I got it.
It's pretty much going to be all words.
Or else you might have to come back and see us again.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I've been 20 years. I know the
All
design.
right.
You'll have to go through design review.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I do have a letter of opposition.
Okay.
From Sharon Lenarsic. Their adjacent property is at 1075 East 61st Street. We've lived there for over 30 years and have seen the neglect of this property by owner Ed Turk for the past week. He has been there moving car parts, tires, leaves, and garbage piled up all over in order to clean up the place. I believe that this is for the
That's the
adjacent
automotive
building.
side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's
And actually-
cleaned up. That's,
They were cleaning up and they were disturbing. I remember she came out, or I think her husband might have come out and said something while they were cleaning.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's next door. That's the automotive shop.
and I'm handling, and it's clean. Yeah, no, it's clean
Oh,
and
yeah, it
everything.
looks
I
way
worked
different
with
than that
them.
right now.
Yeah, I worked with them on that and,
Great.
yeah, everything's good.
So, Madam Chair, I won't read the whole thing, it's a full paragraph. I will place this will be held in the records, just to.
Thank you.
Just for
Are
your.
there any other letters that we should be aware of?
No, that's it.
All right, great. Anything else from the board?
No.
Then I think if I'm prepared to entertain a motion.
Okay. I will take it. Based on the testimony that we have heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 24-021 with one condition, that we do receive the letter of authority
Yes.
from Mr. Edward Turk.
Yes.
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Thank you. Ms. Kukla, if you could call the roll.
Ms. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Rota?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-021 is granted. To be ratified after we receive that letter of authorization.
Yes.
And then we will send you a letter, but please feel free to contact our office for further instructions. Next
Do you
All
need
right.
Ms. Kukla's email address or anything?
I think he has.
Yeah, I already have all
You got
that.
it. Okay,
And I
great.
have it if you.
All right, great. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Good luck with
Okay,
your
thank you
project.
guys.
Thank you guys.
Have a
Yes,
good
take
day.
care.
You
Enjoy the
too.
rest of your day. Are we at the end of our list? We sure are.
Yes.
We did it.
We have 4
Great.
people in the room, and they've been waiting for quite some time.
And we have 2 people in the room. Did you have a case?
We're just here to say hi.
Just observing.
Okay. And
Say bye. Yeah.
great.
Somebody's doing work, right?
That's you guys working at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. People are working. All right. Ms. Kukla will move to old business.
All right, thank you. So let me see. So the only questionable one is Hague Road. I watched the recording and I didn't see anything about asking for new drawings, but there was a condition where you asked for a boundary, a fence on the other side. So I did send you the resolutions, but we'll hold off on that because I believe that you're going to want to see that and have it for the record. But I think that officially we didn't ask for it at the hearing.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we're not getting your emails, so.
Okay, this one was before the last hearing, that's the 10th. But that's fine.
Let us check then, so that, all the more reason for us to look into this one closer.
Right.
Before we ratify.
Yeah, so you did receive these before the 10th, and I think we were okay. That was in your Dropbox.
Okay.
So you have seen the resolutions for the 1, 2, 4, and 7.
Okay, so we were gonna hold on 2, right?
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
yes, sorry about that.
So this is 1, 4, and 7. That we're moving forward. Okay, any objection, board?
No
Without objection.
All right, hearing none, those are ratified, and is there anything else?
Just that you looked at the Ferncliff and Fairville in the back room.
Yes, we
and
did.
you were asking for more information.
We are. We would like to ask the appellant to confirm that they are going to have a sign on the parking lot that indicates that it's parking for the mosque.
Got it.
Otherwise,
And that's it.
And did you, Ms. Wilson, did you confirm whether the curb stops were?
Oh, that was a condition. I wasn't able to see any curb stops in the drawings, so we would want to confirm that.
Okay. So they'll need to show that on the site plan where the sign will be located, and they'll
And
need
the
to
curb
show the
stops.
curb
Curb
stops.
stops.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Our bumper guards, is that what they're officially
I probably made that
called?
up because
Bumper
it's not a
guards.
curb stop. You're right.
All right, anything else? Okay, then I believe that we are adjourned.
Yeah.